And hello, everybody! Welcome to another live stream. Either Salora hosting for interviews with cosplayers. Welcome to my new and special guest interviewee.
I'm Charlie, also known as collectively Charlie, and occasionally Aria Raven on Instagram.
There we go. Thank you for coming on here, and I am so happy to see people enjoying this kind of stuff. So, as today, like I always say in every interview, everybody's like, oh, he repeats this stuff, but it's a good reason why. So, as to cosplay as what it actually has got you into doing it from the beginning to now, and then with how even COVID affected with it, you can even go into the post after how it affected when it started, but let's just focus. What got you into cosplay? How far back when you first started? And how is it affecting you now?
Man, I guess I wouldn't officially label myself a cosplayer until maybe about 6 or 7 years ago, I would say, is when I became like an official cosplayer, and I realized it was a thing. Before that, though, I was always the kid wearing something strange.
Halloween.
Like, and if I could get away with wearing it, costume piece or not, I definitely wore it. So it's always been my thing. What got me into cosplay? I always wanted to be anybody but myself. I had this really weird, like, low self-esteem thing growing up. So it was like, well, I want to be all of those people because they're cool, they're awesome, they have friends, they're pretty, and so I wanted to look like them, and that's kind of where I got started.
So, with that type of actual upbringing, what was the actual things that would you say affected your? What got you thinking like that's what I had to do? Why I didn't like myself? Like, what was the actual thought process over time that? Now that you have a better understanding of being much older, of course, what do you actually look back on to seeing was something silly I thought or did, or just like, this is me now, I accept it? Like, could you explain more of that?
Yeah, I grew up in a really tough family. I'll say my childhood was, put nicely, hard to get through. And to this day, I'm still kind of dealing with the edges that need to be ironed out from the way I was brought up, but I'm getting better.
Improvements, pretty much, can always be made, no matter how old we get. We're always getting our stuff together.
Yep. I think the big thing is, like, I never felt like I was good enough, so I needed to be someone that I thought was good enough. Be it a superhero, be it, I don't know, a princess, whoever in that moment was good enough, that's who I wanted to be. Because they always got the compliments, they got the cheers, they got the girl, they got everything. I grew up with literal nothing.
So, pretty much feeling like an outcast in modern society as, if you don't mind me asking, as like, I'm 30 years old, I can relate to this certain stuff. This was not really super big back then, even though cosplay was a thing back then. We were all discovering it in our own way. Internet wasn't really an actual thing to really like, hey, you can do this. There's more information out there now in this day than there was, say, 10, 20 years ago. Even when we were discovering, like, what anime was. We thought it was a cartoon. But, like, what would you say as growing up? Like, how old would we be right now, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm currently just turned 27 on Sunday.
27 on Sunday? Well, happy early birthday or belated?
Belated.
Belated. Happy belated 27th, hon. So, as to what it is now with just, what can you reflect on from back then to now?
I wish I didn't try to hide as much. I think that's one of the biggest things I tell up-and-coming cosplayers. Like my kids, they're just getting into it, and it's the big popular thing for this generation.
Yeah.
But for me, I really wish that it wasn't just costumes that I worked on in the house or like the hidden trinket that I put on, under my jacket. I really wish I had back then the bravery to be like, here I am, now what?
We're accepting our weirdness now.
Yeah, I did that until my teenage years, which is probably the worst time to get that.
Ooh.
But I got it.
Oh, hon, I was the weirdo who wore the Naruto headband running down the hallways. I'd wear it like Rock Lee, saying, "This is my belt buckle. How we go? I am ninja." And that's how I got my nickname, honestly. I was the ninja throughout my entire time at school because everybody didn't know where I was or something. It was like, "Whoa, where'd you come from?" And then Naruto came and I was like, "My ninja way." So yeah, no, overall on top of that, like now, how do you enjoy your cosplay life?
I love it. Just this, I know my face probably lit up like
Like the screen is here, everybody keeps seeing I go like this. I'm like, no, I have to see. I'm like, okay, the face. Ah, there we go, the happiness, the smile, true happiness now. Where
yes.
Back then we were like, oh, hi, go away, and I'm not a person.
No, I just recently got myself into a position where I cosplay full time now. Like, it's my job. It is what I do for a living, and I could not be happier. It's my pride and joy. No, my kids are my pride and joy.
Hey,
Because
bless your heart for saying that, honestly. That's all we can always hope. I don't have kids. Hopefully in the future, whenever adopted or not, it's the fact that the next generation, we want them to have a more comfortable life. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
But we want to make sure we teach them the struggles of like what life to get them prepared. But please enjoy your childhood while you can. You want to work?
Yep.
Okay, I'll try my best to help you. You don't know anything that this world's going to throw at you. You're going to cry. You're going to be happy, heartbroken, happiness, everything. You got to experience. It's being human. We're not here for long, but let's make the most out of it. Would you agree with something like that?
Definitely here for a good time, not a long time. So
cherish the moments that we have because we're not always going to have them.
Yep, for sure.
And then, as everybody doesn't want to hear, but everybody can relate, what were the gains and losses during the COVID time of your cosplay life to your personal life? How was it for you as an experience as the dark ages for our time and generation?
I struggle. Okay. To be fair, I was very excited to be locked in my house. Not gonna lie. I come off as very, like, cheery and I love people. But truth be told, I actually suffer from PTSD, and talking to people gives me internal panic attacks. I look very calm, and on the inside, my heart's going like this.
Like Komi-san or Komi can't communicate, like, ah!
It's like, help. So
okay.
when we first got locked in our houses, I was like, oh yeah, this works for me. Because then I was able to do things on my terms. I was able to like put on a costume and make a video call, which is a lot more comfortable for me versus like being in an event or being at a con and trying to do it. Woo.
It's one of those mentally, and it's more of a mental adjustment of getting prepared in that case for you. In emotional terms as well, just if it's rushed, it will freak you out on so many different levels. From I was calm collective 5 seconds ago to level 1. This just happened. Now I'm at a level 100. Panic, anxiety, hi. Stuff like that.
Pretty much.
And then,
exactly
what would you say even before COVID, but after COVID? Like you said, you're happy that you're locked in. Now with us getting back to normal, how have things been for you, your family? What would you say has been affecting it now with how you said that cosplay is a full-time job? Could you go in more details if you don't mind me asking?
Sure thing. I guess we'll start with explaining the whole full-time job thing. I recently retired from the military. I was in the Air Force for a little while. Thank you
for your service.
So now I live in a little small town called Minot, North Dakota. And my whole goal, because I've noticed that a lot of people have not left here and experienced anything.
I know the feeling on some places like that.
And so my goal is to bring that magic here if and when I can. I want to do things like offer meet and greets in my cosplays for free. Like, I put a lot of time and effort into costumes, but cost doesn't matter to me because if I can bring Disney magic to Minot, knowing that most of these kids are probably not going to get to Disney anytime soon, then
Oh,
I've done a good thing. I
I
really enjoy that part because there's nothing close by here that's even remotely close to what your larger cities will have to offer. So if I can take 6 or 8 hours out of my day and run around town in costumes, even I've knocked on people's doors. Like I've had moms message me and be like, "Hey, do you mind showing up in such and such costume?" Sure thing. And so what I do with that is I operate kind of on a tip basis. Like if someone wants to pay, that's fine. Half of that goes to the charity of my choosing, and then half of it I'll use for costume maintenance. But I don't require anything at all. I kind of just like, yeah, I'll show up. Sure. I don't have anything scheduled right now.
nice,
I'll get in
nice.
costume and just that's what I do. That's what I do all day.
Right. And I'll definitely want to talk more into the charity work that you actually do as well, of choice that you're doing. But hey, we all have to live too. We may struggle, but like, you yourself comes before anybody else. And if family included, your family comes next. Like, you got to make sure priorities. And there's some people that get butthurt when it's like not about them. So here's the best example or thing I could say. You are the main character of your own life, not of someone else's. And if you're with, can't actually realize you can't sacrifice the things that are important that you can, or like I have to put my foot down, then it's just like like I said, it's you. You have to worry about yourself and your loved ones that include not just family, but who you believe and are family to you.
Yep, for sure. I don't have a lot of what we would call biological family. I guess in that sense, it's kind of just me and my kiddos, and my siblings. But I've built family kind of from the ground up, so they mean more to me than anything.
And that's
But
good,
and Cheesecake.
honestly. Yes, and Cheesecake. Absolutely. I'm so sorry. There's some people I've actually talked to over even like, I'm allergic to dairy. I'm allergic to flour. I'm like, honey, I'm so sorry. Like even one person said, what's Oreos taste like? I'm like, chocolately with marsh fluff heaven in the mouth. Let's put it that way. You're like, oh, it's so good. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and get to the actual cosplay pics that, of course, I've got the OBS thing up. I'm so sorry, everybody. But right here, we're on the voice character that you have here, cosplayed, correct? With the blonde hair, gold gloves, and all that.
Yep, the boy.
All right, so for
Starlight.
this, what would you actually, what got you to wanting to do your cosplays, essentially, for each one we're going to list off here? Explain a little bit how you felt, stuff like that. So beginning with the voice.
Yep. Starlight from The Boys is probably, she's my favorite character from The Boys. It is not a kid-friendly show, but if you haven't watched it and you're looking for bad superheroes, it's a go-to. And I think that's what got me into it, was I spent a lot of time as a princess, and I spent a lot of time as, like, very nice, goody-goody characters. And I was like, I want to do someone that's kind of sick of hearing that. And that's what Starlight was for me. She was like real sick of pretending to be a goody goody two shoes words. And so I was like, yeah, gotta do it.
Absolutely. Hey, whatever gets you like interested in a certain character, go for it, like 100%. And then following up here, we've got a Harley Quinn from the first movie of Suicide Squad, correct?
Yep.
So what got you wanting to do her?
Harley's my country. She is my go-to. If I ever just need to like let off some steam, I'm throwing on a Harley Quinn costume and I'm just gonna run around the house and go for it.
And just mess stuff up. I'm like, ha ha ha! Kind of attitude feel, right?
Yep.
And then we got following up. Now there are many people saying this is Spider-Woman. I'm like, it's not Spider-Woman. Is SpiderGwen correct?
SpiderGwen. Yep.
All right. And then SpiderGwen, very popular. I see every place I go that's cosplay, meetup, convention, anything on the shelf, even now in some of the actual regular, like, Party City, Spirit Halloween, I'm starting to see these pop up. So, like, go into why and how.
Well, I have a classic Spider-Man costume.
Nice.
And I that one for the kiddos. But we'll just be honest, no matter how much binding tape and compression gear I put on, I'm not built like Spider-Man. There's just nothing I can do to fix that.
The struggles, man. The struggles.
And so when we got SpiderGwen as a character, and girls were so into her, and she became so easily relatable. I was like, yeah, I have to. That's one thing I would definitely want to do is I want to find those relatable female characters that girls can get excited about. That's not necessarily like Cinderella or Snow White, you know?
Right. And, you know, like, growing up, that's like, oh, we want to do this. And now that we're coming more to modern times, it's like, no, be that I'm going to kick butt attitude. You know, it doesn't even need to be a superhero. It's like, no, we're strong. It doesn't matter what role a person's sex is. It's like, no, be the character you want to be because it makes you feel confident as a person and who you want to be as a performance on stage. This is, let me get it. Yes. And then going on to, I see Tiana here from the Disney movie Princess and the Frog. Mm-hmm. What got you wanting to do this one?
Oh, representation for sure. It is already hard being a POC cosplayer, and there are not a lot of characters that look like me. And so I'm going to show you all of them. If I get enough money and enough time, I'm going to show you as many as I can. I'm working on an Ironheart suit now, and most people don't know who she is.
Let's go!
Super stoked to get that one out.
Are you going to try and make sure to get, like, everything moving light up, or is it just, like, stationary, hey, I'm just wearing the outfit type thing?
No, we're getting LEDs and hopefully some voice changers in there, and if I get my way, if I say, hey, Jarvis, my face mask will open, but that takes a little bit of...
That'd be so cool. And then I heard you say POC cosplay. Could you explain to the audience, because it's a little bit like, I'm a little frazzled, I forgot what that is. Could you actually explain what POC is?
Yeah, so it's a person of color. That's what POC is short for. And being I'll just say it, black cosplayer, it's hard. There just aren't a lot of characters that are black. And the few that we do have are not main characters. So if I being obscure, no one would know who I was. We'll just be honest.
Right, and that, honestly, now that you've said that, it's sad to see that because I stand by the whole fact cosplay is for everyone, regardless of skin, sex, anything. Do what you want to do. Be happy. We already know, real talk, real life, community, life is going to come at you. It doesn't matter. It's just straight up, do what you want to do. But I do understand where you're coming from as to, like, there are cosplays I personally would say I want to do because I look like it. It's like, oh my god!
Yeah, it's easy.
But it's just the backlash sometimes, just the toxicity with it. It hits at home where everybody's personal experience is going to be different, but as a whole, it's just big sad. That's just BS for sometimes where you have to deal with what life is, and nobody's going to understand exactly what another person has gone through. You can relate, you can try and understand, but to the best of your knowledge, unless they're in your shoes, you got to fight your own battles.
Yep.
In truth. And honestly, kudos to every single cosplay so far that I've seen here, and we're going to have 3 more shown here. They've been excellent, awesome, good works. I'm glad that I'm seeing people of all race, sex, age. As long as, you know, you're going about it appropriate, cool, awesome. Courtesy to all those, and, you know, the older we get, you do what you need to do, but hey, we'll go on to the next one being here. Supergirl, correct?
Yes.
And I see that you're on the ground and, you know, sitting position, legs crossed. You look super happy here. The Samoan skateway, is that, I assume, what it is? Skating rink?
Yes. Yep, that's down in Florida. I used to live in Florida for a little while. Cosplay's huge there. I love being there.
So you got a lot of Florida men? You know that's everybody's first question. How's the Florida man down there? Which one?
Sheesh. No, they're great. In that photo, I actually got invited out to do a cosplay event. They were hosting cosplayers at the skating rink just to take pictures with kiddos and stuff because it was their family skate night. So that was a lot of fun.
That's good. And then, like, what got you wanting to, and I assume that's your real hair right there. You're not wearing a wig or anything?
Oh, no. You haven't seen my real hair at all, not even in this interview.
Oh, there we go. Honestly, I thought it was real hair. I was like, girl, that's good. I like.
No. We don't talk about real hair. Okay?
Hey, I know. It's all good. It's all good. If I go bald, I go bald. Guess what? That just means I'm getting in more of a character for future reference. But with the next one being Poison Ivy here, what got you wanting to do Poison Ivy?
Poison Ivy was an accident. When COVID first hit, I was doing like this 1-hour cosplay challenge. I wanted to see if I could make a costume from scratch, get fully into makeup, and do pictures in an hour. So Poison Ivy happened to be the first one that I did because I had some scraps of green fabric. It was a testament to learning how to improvise really hardcore because I needed to make a bodysuit and I did not have a bodysuit pattern. But fun fact, if you take a sports bra and some underpants and pin them together, you have a bodysuit pattern. And so that costume took me about an hour and 10 minutes to do from start to finish, getting fully in costume and in makeup. So
very cool, very cool. That's actually very awesome. I've been seeing a lot more challenges here lately online as well with what can you do in an hour or 5 hours? Like, you got to go hardcore. What can we do? This is the subject. And that's honestly very cool to see. And then with the next cosplay coming up is a Storm from X-Men. Is this from X-Men Origins movie, or is this more of like another type of X-Men style of Storm here?
That bodysuit is from, if I'm remembering correctly, it's modeled from X-Men 2.
Okay.
But her hair is off. She went through a lot of changes in that movie. We went from long hair to short hair. We had the cape going on. There's a lot going on. But that costume is just kind of an improvisation of all the pieces that I like the most from the original X-Men movies.
Okay. That's awesome to hear, actually. It's like, there's a huge variety, but I see like a lot of superhero, Marvel, DC, and then we got, a couple like Disney here and there, but like honestly it's a good variety of different types of cosplays, challenges, and hearing a lot of like you made most of the stuff that you're doing here, so it was awesome, and kudos to you on that. I tip my hat to you that. And so now we're gonna go ahead and get to the interview of like your social medias on charity stuff. Going in more details, you were talking about charity earlier. What can you tell more about that?
Sure thing. I do a lot. I'm in a lot. I give to a lot. Recently, I have been, when I was living in Florida, I was working with the Costumers with the Cause. They're amazing. If you are looking for a cosplay charity to donate to, those guys are phenomenal. Their whole goal is pretty much the same as mine. Showing up in character for kiddos for completely free, and they operate 100% off donations. Those guys are a nonprofit. They're phenomenal. I would highly recommend. I've been working with the Girl Scouts. I'm going to be in their Candyland ball as Tiana, apparently, next month. I just found out not too long ago. So that'll be fun. I definitely like giving to the Girl Scouts. I'm a troop leader. My daughter's a Girl Scout. Definitely recommend those guys. As far as my personal cosplay, there's a lot to give to here. There's the Wounded Warrior Project. I give to those guys because I myself am a Wounded Warrior.
Nice.
So if I ever get, I give to them. The local animal shelters here. I'm a big fan of the local rescues because the animal shelters do a really good job of getting funding. So if I could ever make anything in addition that I can give, I usually give it to like the local rescues that are just running out of their houses and doing their best. I give into those guys.
Okay, very cool. And if we can get the links to those, we can try and make sure to get into the description of the Twitch video and YouTube videos in the future here. Even after this will be uploaded for people to see immediately and do some edits on that. But in the YouTube video, we'll go into full details and everything, get some more details on all the stuff. And then for your social medias, what would you say that you can advertise of yours and anybody else that you think you could give a shout out to? Starting with yours. Let's start with your social medias as what people can find.
I'm terrible about uploading social media, but if you want to follow my journey when I do remember to post, Instagram's the way to go. Yep, it'd be I don't even remember my handle. That's terrible. I think it's @Raven_cosplay. I'm so bad, you guys. I'm so sorry. I am probably the least likely person to promote myself, just because the more times I talk about myself is the more times people try to talk to me. and I don't want to.
You gotta do what you gotta do, though.
But yeah, yeah,
So,
it's Aria Raven _cosplay. That's my Instagram, and honestly, that's about all I got. Feel free to message me. I'm probably gonna get back to you in like 48 to 72 business hours, but it's okay.
there
I
we
will
go.
get back.
Trust me, there's a lot of people, it's like, okay, it's a day later. I know I've been kind of delayed on also responding, but it's just like when you got hundreds of people now messaging you, it's like, oh, hi, give me 5 minutes and I'll get to you.
I'm 3, so 5 minutes for me is more like 5 hours, but I promise to get back to you.
As soon as I can.
Anytime.
And then on top of that, is there anything else that you'd like to discuss during the interview as to any other free time as to what we've got still here in the interview? What would you say that you could give advice to anybody out there that's starting with cosplay?
If you're just getting started, you don't have to shoot for the expensive stuff. You don't. One thing I've noticed in a lot of groups is that there's a lot of gatekeeping. I guess the definition of gatekeeping would be people trying to tell you don't cosplay or that your cosplays aren't good enough. Don't listen.
Yeah, no.
Don't listen.
No.
Please don't. And don't stop doing you because you aren't getting the support. Because for a year and a half, I was trying my hardest to be like a famous cosplayer. And at some point, I had to sit back and remember for myself, like, I'm cosplaying because I like doing this. I'm not cosplaying for anybody else's benefit. And I think that's really what kept me going, because I almost quit about 2 years ago. I was going to hang it all up, sell everything, and call it good, because I would share something to, like, a social media group, and I'd get no reposts, I'd get hardly any likes, and I kept trying to figure out what I was doing wrong. But I'm not doing anything wrong. None of us are. People are going to like what they like, and they're going to dislike what they dislike, and they're going to say mean things, and they're going to be the people that say nice things. It's kind of a mixture of everything. But you got to take the good with the bad and remember that it's for you and not anybody else. You are that character because you like that character, and call it good.
Right. No, that is some of the best advice right there. And just, it's do you. Don't do it for somebody else, because then it's going to feel more like it's a job. If you're not doing what you're doing because of enjoying it, you're doing it for the wrong reason.
Yep. And, like, I guess my other big advice would be don't feel like you need to make everything in the beginning. I'm a very, very person. I don't get to make everything. I don't. But the way I see it and the way I validate it to myself is I had to go to work to buy the thing. So I still put in just as work as the person who spent 12 hours painting this staff.
Right.
It's the exact same thing.
And would you say also, regardless of your background, as long as you keep working, and like I said even earlier in this interview, life will keep trying to push you down as hard as it can. And if you give up, the worst thing I can say, you're just another nobody in the crowd, as what some people say. Don't ever keep pushing for those dreams, because one day it'll become a reality. The only time you can't is the day that you die. Don't live with regrets.
And even then, I'm getting cosplay. Don't know which one yet.
But you start somewhere. Never say something's bad, because even those elites, they started somewhere, and they're like, this was me. It's like, don't be ashamed, hun. Do not be ashamed out there, everyone.
You have to consider that the elites usually have sponsors. We don't always get to hear about the sponsors, but they do. So that $5,000 cosplay that they're wearing probably only paid for $2,500 of it, so don't get discouraged at all.
Right. And it's just like, even people say like, I'm doing everything on my own. I was like, that's cool, but be very only trust some of the people that you know that you can work with, but even then, still be on guard, because you never know. Somebody might throw you under the bus.
Yep.
But don't say like you can't trust anybody, though, at the same time. Just be wary.
How to trust the right people.
Yes. And keep yourself around positive people in your life to be able to do what you're doing.
Yep.
But other than that, thank you so much for coming on here. And other than that, we'll have everything in the description below, with the Twitch and soon the YouTube video later on uploaded. If you guys want to follow her up, I will make sure that her Facebook and all of her other social medias, check out the charity stuff that she's talked about in the actual interview. And other than that, Charlie, thank you so much for coming on. Anything else?
No, if you're an independent creator, check out ICC Independent Creators on Facebook. They're phenomenal.
There we go, and we'll make sure to get anybody actually mentioned into the actual description below. But other than that, guys, either Solo or sign out, and...
Oh, Charlie, see you later.
See you later, everyone. Bye.